Please welcome to the stage your Day One host, Jeremy Fernandez.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Sydney World Pride's Human Rights Conference. My name is Jeremy Fernandez. My pronouns are he and him. It's my privilege to be your host for day one of this conference. I'm a journalist and anchor with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, which is a partner of Sydney World Pride. Today I'm wearing a powder blue jacket, a shirt with a mandarin collar, dark trousers, black boots, and my mother says I've got a reasonably nice face. We'll just have to take her word for it. Before we proceed, I too would like to acknowledge that we're gathered on the lands of the Gadigal people, the traditional custodians of the Darling Harbour area on which this building stands. For those of you who are not familiar with local customs, protocols and rituals such as the smoking ceremony and the welcome to country have been a part of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures for tens of thousands of years in this country. There are important reminders that we are guests on this land and we have a responsibility to care for it and to protect it. And a round of applause too for the Kuri Wurgul dancers for their spectacular performance. What a symbolic way to open this Human Rights Conference. This is the first time World Pride has come to the Southern Hemisphere. And as many of you no doubt saw over the biggest Mardi Gras weekend we've ever seen in this city, we are very excited to host the biggest Pride festival in the world here in Sydney. For me personally, as a Malaysian-born Australian of Indian descent, a lot of the issues we're covering over the next few days come very close to home. There are parts of our region where queer rights don't exist at all. In hosting World Pride, Australia and Australians recognise the role we can play in helping progress messages of love and acceptance. We're joined in Sydney at the International Convention Centre today by more than 1,800 changemakers and hundreds more from across the globe joining us online. Together, over the next 3 days, we'll hear from more than 200 presenters in 120 sessions as Sydney World Pride and Equality Australia bring you the largest LGBTQIA+ human rights conference that's ever been held. Today we'll share our visions and dreams for the world that we want to create and reflect on the barriers to change. Tomorrow, on day two, our focus will turn to the stories, skills and strategies we'll need to create change we want to see in the world. And finally, on day three, we'll look back on what we've achieved together, the legacy we've created, and what we can do to take these values back to our communities in every part of the globe. Before we begin our opening plenary, I have a few housekeeping notes. Firstly, please ensure your mobile phones are set to silent. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the instructions of staff. We also have several accessibility provisions in place for those who need them. For those in the room, the screens on either side of me, you'll find Auslan and International Sign Language interpreters, along with live captioning. For those online, the streaming platform also has live captions available. We also have audio description available to people seated in the first 3 rows of the auditorium through devices that can be collected at registration. Alternatively, you can use the Live Voice smartphone app, which is available to download from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. You might also notice that some attendees are wearing different lanyards to yours. The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower lanyard is worn by people with hidden disabilities, so they can access the support they need. If someone is wearing a sunflower lanyard, it means they may need a helping hand, a little bit more time, or simply your understanding. In addition, the yellow lanyards with no photos written on them are for attendees who wish to remain anonymous. Please be mindful of this if you're taking photos and to respect each other's privacy. If you have any issues with any of the accessibility provisions available, the staff at the registration desk will be able to help you. For those joining us in person, you can download the conference app, which has the full agenda, list of presenters, their biographies, and access to live chat and Q&A. Given the number of people joining us today, we want to ensure that everyone has a voice, whether you're in the room or not. All questions should be submitted through the conference app or online platform. You can vote for your favourite questions to make sure they reach the panel. On the app, you can also find the Human Rights Conference Code of Conduct by clicking on Resources. The Code of Conduct reflects our values of curiosity, listening, learning, respect, diversity, integrity, and courage. Sydney World Pride wants this conference to be a safe space. If you need help resolving a conflict on site, please call the number on screen. Somewhere up here, there it is. The number on screen, or use that email address, conference@sydneyworldpride.com, with the subject line, Incident. If you feel unwell at any stage or overwhelmed during a session, please feel free to leave at your will at any time, without judgment or explanation. If you need someone to talk to about how you're feeling, or just a quiet space away from the crowds, you can find our wellbeing lounge and counselling rooms on level 4. You can also find self-care tips and contact details for other mental health services in the back pages of your program. We also have a space for quiet reflection and prayer, and a First Nations space for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander attendees. That's on level 3. This conference is possible thanks to the work and support of a number of key organisations. We would especially like to thank community partners, First Nations Advisory Committee, and the International Advisory Board. It's now my honour to invite several representatives of key contributing organisations to the stage to officially open the conference for us today. I'm pleased to introduce Auntie Sue Pinkham, a proud Birrapee woman and one of the First Nations board members of Sydney World Pride. Please welcome Auntie Sue.